Well, hello everyone. This is ADHD Annie here. Today I am going to talk about the aftermath of my third round of TMS. I know I did show a video not too long ago about TMS. Like, I completed my third round. I think the last day was Wednesday. I'll see if I can make it related in this post, but I guess I just wanted to talk about, how all of that went. I also have a video from last year, I think, just talking about my first round of TMS and how that went. I don't think I had posted any footage of the second round. I know I started my first round about 2 years ago. It was April of 2023. And I think that first round was probably had the highest results. I really didn't have many side effects when I started. I'll try to link that video down below as well. But fast forward, I just completed my third round. I feel like when I first started, I started to get some pretty god-awful headaches. I was also getting insomnia. But I also kind of knew that if I don't go through and I don't complete the 36 sessions that I need to do to complete my round of TMS, that it's not gonna bode well for me. So that did get to be pretty challenging at times, because I feel like the first or second week of TMS, literally I had horrible insomnia, and I'm just one of those people where I really don't function well the next day if I got a shitty night's sleep the night before. So there was that, the migraines, all of that. I feel like it did go away probably after the second week or so. But it was just a little odd because, I don't know, I asked the nurse practitioner if she could prescribe me something, because the extra strength Tylenol just wasn't doing it. I was hoping to get either like a muscle relaxant, and this nurse practitioner told me that she just doesn't prescribe medication. I don't know, I'm not exactly a frontline healthcare worker, but I would think a nurse practitioner does have prescribing authority. There was that piece. I think as my TMS round was about ready to come to an end, what was really difficult, and I was telling my therapist this, is that I'm very grateful that I was able to see good results. And by good results, I mean I was able to have a better affect, all of that, and I was able to have more enthusiasm when completing tasks, and get my ass out of bed and do all the things that I need to do every day as a single working mother, okay? That's really, to me, the big picture. That's why I stuck it out the whole entire third round. What's really disappointing is just the fact that at the end of the day, there really is no quick treatment to help me get through my deep-seated feelings of resentment. It gets tough. I feel that I have ADHD, and that comes with a whole set of struggles. And on top of that, I've had a lot of hurt in my day. I've had a lot of hurt growing up, and I've had a lot of hurt as an adult. I don't know how many videos I can link in this video, but in the event that I can only link one or two, in my pilot episode, it definitely talks about some of the hurt that I've had. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have pain, and I certainly don't believe that I'm a victim. I really don't. I have very little tolerance for people who have this victim mentality, probably because there's people like that in my family who actually believe that they have it so bad and everyone else around them has it so good. Whereas for me, at the end of the day, I have a lot of things in my life to be grateful for, okay? That being said, I just think that I've been hurt big time, especially by people in my own family, and I certainly do have deep-seated resentment about that. And this is something that there's really no antidepressive treatment that will eradicate me of my resentful feelings. I come from a family of perfectionists, and there is a huge mix of neurotypical and neurodivergent, and at the end of the day, I do have people that I'm related to who definitely, they make statements that are incredibly ableist to me, very hurtful, and very dismissive of the depression that I go through. And I feel like their priorities are skewed. I feel like no matter what, I still have struggles at the end of the day, but I feel like instead of being my rock, instead of being people that I can rely on for compassion, for support, all of the things, they just add to my problems. And then they make me feel very resentful. And I feel like resentment is something that it originates because you feel you had a specific set of standards and expectations for the people in your life and they failed it miserably, which is exactly what has happened, with my family. Again, this goes back to my pilot episode. Like, I lived with my parents over a year and a half after I had filed for divorce, and I was between jobs, and I really just needed to get back on my feet. And I don't like how I was treated. I feel like home should be a place of refuge. I feel that they should want to support their daughter no matter what. But I really can't force it on them to do the right thing by me. It's just very depressing to think that, okay, this is what they did. They kicked me when I was down, and that's putting it lightly. So I guess that's the one and only disappointing thing about TMS is just realizing that it will never take away the heartache and the pain, your past, and how people have hurt me. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, what I really want to talk about is The Onion. So I think I'm going to dedicate a lot of my content on YouTube to The Onion because I, for a very long time, have been an avid reader of that news outlet, and I just think it's really hilarious. For those of you who have read The Onion, I would say my favorite columnist is Jean Teasdale. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But Jean Teasdale, I feel like she really has the humorous, amusing part of depression that she deals with. I'm 38 now, and I've been into this for at least 18 years, no joke. So, without further ado, I'm going to go to one of my favorite, I have a lot of favorite Jean Teasdale articles, but I'm going to go to this one specifically. It is called Jean Teasdale Living. This is like a 25-year-old article, but it's still funny. It starts out with, "Well, Jean Coutiers, I've got a confession to make. For a while there, I wasn't following my trusty old axiom." What's an axiom? Now I gotta look that up. Okay, Google, define axiom. Axiom, a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. The axiom that supply equals demand. For starters, once again, my career was not going so well. That job I had sorting donated clothes at Goodwill just didn't work out. It was only 20 hours a week and paid nearly $6 an hour. But after just 1 week, I quit. Yep, I've been in many of those jobs, let me tell you. I thought a tireless bargain hunter like myself would love a job like that, but it was just too boring. Plus, some of the donations were positively gross. They wouldn't even make good rags to wash your car with. I can't believe people can be so insensitive toward the poor. Now that's funny. After quitting that job, I went to the mall and applied for a position at this earring store, ringing on my ears. I've always been fascinated by piercing guns, and I have a pretty steady hand. But applying turned out to be an ordeal because I had to check yes for the question on the application that asked if you were being convicted of a crime or misdemeanor. You see, a couple of months ago, I had one of my bouts with depression and was caught shoplifting circus peanuts from the Pimida. What's the Pimida? Now I gotta look this up. Okay. Pimida is a chain of department stores with more than 175 locations in 16 Midwestern and West Central U.S. states. Really? Because I live in the Midwest. I don't have any of that by me. Oh, the parent organization is Shopco Optical. I don't know if it's still around or what, but okay, so we know that Pimida is a department store. Anyway, it sounds like she was shoplifting circus peanuts. That's funny. I mean, I'll tell you this much. I have been a long-term survivor of treatment-resistant depression. I'll try to link that as I said, I'll try, keyword try, to link that video down below. But anyway, yeah, never have I wanted to shoplift circus peanuts from anyone. I got off on 1 year's probation and 30 hours of community service picking up trash along Highway DX. But judging from the look I got from the ringing on my ears manager who took my application, she probably thought I was going to pistol whip her and steal the money from the cash register. So basically, that person, I don't have the best reading comprehension. So the manager is pretty much clutching at her pearls. So it sounds like the manager needs to get over herself. Needless to say, I never did get a call back about that job, nor the one at Chewy Dewey's Old Dime Cookie Company. Ooh, what's that? Now I have to look that up. What is this? Do they still exist? Never heard of that. I mean, granted, I was never allowed to eat treats anyway when I was a kid, but I've just never heard of them. Okay, I have no clue what they are. They must be like, it says, who owns Dewey Cookies? Okay. Scott Livingood, he's dead. I don't get it. Is this like a Mrs. Fields place? Whatever, I don't know, but it sounds really delicious. Needless to say, I never did get a call back about that job, nor the one at Chewy Dewey's Old Dime Cookie Company, which is probably just as well. With me on the job, they would have to order twice the chocolate. Same here. You guys, oh my gosh, I love, 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 love chocolate. And imagine this, I'm again at that time of the month and trying, keywords, trying again, to follow Autumn Bates' plan. If you don't know her, look her up on YouTube. She's a fitness influencer and has quite a high following. She's also a registered dietitian. I do like a lot of her recipes, especially the Lily's baking chocolate chips that are supposed to be sugar-free, because I feel like they help curb my cravings for chocolate. I mean, chocolate is my favorite food. The article is extremely distracting, so I'm gonna get off that tangent and go back to this. For the next few weeks, I was down in the dumps in a major way. I took to my waterbed so much. Oh, do you guys remember waterbeds? I feel like my parents never did have a waterbed in their house, but when I was a kid, I had a neighbor whose parents had a waterbed. And we wanted to jump on it, and then it really pissed their parents off. But enough of that. So I was down in the dumps in a major way. I took to my waterbed so much that I probably qualified as a seaworthy vessel. So basically what she's doing, that sounds like bed rotting of the 2000s. That's a very interesting TikTok trend that I've come across. I guess it's somewhat relatable because I am a survivor of depression. So anyway, yeah, she did that. Not only that, I put on nearly 15 pounds. One day, as hubby Rick was leaving for work, he looked at me and said, "You'd better get out of that bed and start moving, or soon we're gonna have to knock out a wall just to get you out of the room." Oh my God, that's terrible. Rick is a jackass, but somehow hubby Rick just makes this so much more amusing. Boy, I can always count on Rick for moral support. In between periods of sleep, I gloomily assessed my life. Here I was, 40 years old, and I had scarcely made anything of myself. I had little education, no savings, and no kids. And on top of that, let's face it, my career path had veered straight off into no man's land. I think it's because I've always been a sensitive and artistic person, and I get easily bored with humdrum tasks that don't involve my inner emotions. I have severe ADHD, and I'm going to repeat that again. I think it's because I've always been a sensitive and artistic person, and I get easily bored with humdrum tasks that don't involve my inner emotions. Preach on, Jean, because I feel like that 97% of the time. I am definitely, when it comes to like the logical and the emotional side of the brain, I am definitely on the emotional end, 100%. I said 97%, but went up by 3%. So that's that. Okay, this is great. If only I could stay at home like mom, I thought to myself. No boring 40-hour-a-week job, just the responsibility of making a nice home for my family. Then it hit me. I can't believe I didn't think of it before. Why couldn't I become a full-time homemaker? Hubby Rick just got promoted to associate manager at the tire center with a raise of nearly $2 an hour. So it's not like we needed the second income. Right, yeah. Okay. Plus, our apartment desperately needed someone to look after it full time, considering what a huge, disorganized mess it had become. I love to cook and bake and do little creative projects. So there would be absolutely no excuse for us to eat out of cans and pizza boxes anymore. Oh, Jean. What's more, I thought it would really help our marriage. Rick is always complaining about how he never has a nice place to come home to. If I kept our home all nice and neat, maybe he would stop spending all that time at Tacky's Tavern and spend a little more time with me. Hubba hubba. Then, who knows, maybe I would finally be preggers. God knows my biological clock is ticking louder than a time bomb. The possibilities were staggering. Now, this is just really funny. With my upbringing, basically towards the last, so my dad retired in 2019. And for the last 20 years of my dad's career, my dad was the sole provider because my mom, she left the workforce at 41 and did not return. But I don't know why. I just totally get her on this. I feel like, I'm a divorced woman, and some days I want to be stay-at-home mom, other days I want to be working mom, whatever. But I'm a divorcee, so stay-at-home mom and housewife just isn't in my future. And plus, I'm living in 2025 where the inflation is sky high. So I think her thinking that $2 an hour raise at the tire center will afford her a stay-at-home or a housewife, that's pretty funny. Okay, so what else did she say? She said, besides, there's absolutely no shame in a woman being a homemaker. What, with Martha Stewart so huge these days? Martha is my idol. Oh yeah, this was before Martha Stewart did Time in the Pen too. This was dated April 19th of 2000, so I don't know about this. This didn't age well. I have learned so much about running a household just by watching her show and reading her catalog. She's shown the world that being a homemaker is just as good as having a career outside the home. Sure, home folks like to act like big shots by becoming doctors and lawyers and so on. Sure, some folks like to act like big shots by becoming doctors and lawyers and so on. But can they arrange flowers or make their own lip balm like Martha can? I thought not. Once I made my decision to be a stay-at-home mom, I got out of my trusty old credit card and ordered a couple of wreath-making kits from Martha's catalog. And I couldn't resist tossing in an adorable little green glass container shaped like a chicken. It set me back more than $100. Yeah, your hubby Rick's gonna be pissed off. But I decided that from here on, everything in the Teasdale household would be pure class with a capital C. After all, Martha wouldn't be caught dead sorting through crummy old clothes at Goodwill, so why should I? And my probation officer, Judy, would be so proud of me for spending my time in a constructive way. When I got the wreath kit in the mail the next day, I was overjoyed. The brand new, creative, organized, happy Jean was born. Well, almost born. Turns out I had to go to 5 different flower shops before I could find the dried hydrangeas the wreath required. And by the time I began making the wreath, it was almost time for Rick to get home. And with dinner not yet made and the place filled with unwashed dishes, mounds of laundry, and a reeking litter box, I seemed more like Martha Stewart's evil twin than Martha herself. Remembering my vow to be a good homemaker, I dropped my hydrangea project and made a beeline for the kitchen. That is so typical of me, like seriously. I think this woman has depression. I don't really know. It's been a while since I've opened up a Jean Teasdale article. I used to read her all the time. But anyway, that seriously is how I am. Like I get caught, especially when it comes to housework. I get I focus in like a laser when I do housework. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'll focus on one task to the exclusion of other things. So it sounds like this is what's going on with her. Remembering my vow to be a good homemaker, I dropped my hydrangea project and made a beeline for the kitchen. But I stopped in my tracks when I discovered to my horror that my kitty Garfield was throwing up all over the already filthy kitchen floor. I shooed him away, but that didn't do any good because he kept vomiting as he scurried away into the bedroom. This required immediate action. So I hauled out a mop and bucket, poured a cup of ammonia into a half a gallon of bleach. I'm sure most of you guys know, don't ever do that. That's fatal. And commenced to swabbing the old deck. I was making pretty good progress, but then something happened that I didn't experience since playing badminton in 10th grade gym class. I began to feel very dizzy. I remember rushing for a Dixie cup in the bathroom to stop the burning sensation in my nostrils and throat. But then it gets kind of hazy after that. I do vaguely remember being outside on the lawn with a blanket over me. An ambulance was there and a group of neighbors had gathered around. And hubby Rick was standing over me yelling something about how because of this, he would have to miss quarter tax night at Tacky's. Man, hubby Rick is an asshole. So, damn, if this woman didn't have treatment-resistant depression before all that, she definitely has it now. Okay. Well, is my face red because it ends up that hubby Rick found me passed out in the bathroom with a big bruise on my forehead where it had hit the sink. Oh my God. He called 911 and the paramedic actually had to get me breathing again with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I was too out of it to get a good look at the paramedic, but I sure hope he was a hunk. It was a pretty close call for your old pal Gene, that's for sure. The most embarrassing part is that the paramedics contacted my probation officer even after I swore up and down that the whole thing was just a silly accident. After hearing about the incident, Judy said that she was convinced I have a history of erratic behavior, whatever that means. So I had to promise her to be more careful while housekeeping in the future. Okay, so my career as a domestic goddess didn't get off to such an auspicious start. What does that mean? I gotta look that up. Okay, auspicious. Promising, success. Opportune, favorable. That means. So I had to promise her to be more careful while housekeeping in the future. Okay, so my career as a domestic goddess didn't get off to such an auspicious start, but I eventually got my wreath done and it looked very nice. Yeah, I just had a really rinky-dinky Dollar Tree wreath on my door during the whole Christmas season. I think I had purchased it 2 Christmases ago. But yeah, these Martha Stewart wreaths don't sound cheap at all. So anyway, but I eventually got my wreath done and it looked very nice. That is until my other kitty, Priscilla, pulled it down and wrecked it. Oh my gosh. My doctor recommended that I stay home and recuperate for a few weeks. So I've gotten a lot of housework done. Well, that's good. Admittedly, it gets a little boring at times, but that suits me just fine. Because at least I'm not slaving away at some unfulfilling, low-paying job that I probably wouldn't be good at anyway. Aww. So my advice to all of you people out there who want to spend more time inside your house is grab that brass ring and go for it. After all, if you ignore your real dreams, you'll never be happy. And always remember that there's a positive side to everything. For example, hitting my head in the bathroom seemed like a bad thing at the time. But because of that, I've been housebound and haven't had to explain to Rick why I haven't gotten a job. Oh my gosh. He still doesn't know about my new career as a homemaker. But I'm sure he'll eventually go along with it. I just have to find the right time to break the news to him. Okay, so now I remember actually reading the sequel to that. I'm not going to share what was said in there until probably the next video. I don't know about you. Comment down below if you enjoy reading Jean. She's definitely one of my favorite, or Jean Teasdale. She's definitely one of my favorite columnists. All right, until next time, bye.